If you're watching this, you probably have big goals, whether that's to get fit, to save a bunch of money, to finally start your side hustle, whatever it is, you've probably tried to achieve this before, but something always goes wrong and it just never ends up happening. And if that sounds familiar, then this is the video for you. So the thing is that your goals probably aren't the problem, but what's the actual problem is your strategy. And research shows that most people actually fail at their goals because they're relying on willpower or motivation, which never actually lasts. But here's the good news. Success isn't about hacking your willpower or hacking your motivation. It's about just understanding how your brain works and using science-backed strategies to actually achieve these goals. So today we are breaking down the step-by-step program to actually achieve literally anything that you could ever want. If you don't know me, my name is Haley and I'm your realistic and balanced bestie, helping you build a stronger brain and body. So for part one, we are going to talk about why most goals actually fail. Reason number one, your goals are too vague. You're saying things like, I want to be a millionaire, I want to have a lot of money, I want to have more freedom, I want to have a nice car. You're not actually getting specific on the actual things you want. If you want a nice car, you're not just going to say, I want a nice car. You're going to get down to the specifics and say what actual make and model you actually want to have. That was the worst example that I could have picked because I don't know anything about cars. So let's use a better example. So if you said, oh, I want to be a business owner, you have to get clear. What kind of business do you want to own? Do you want to own a local coffee shop that has 6 employees and is in only one location? Or do you want to own a franchise of coffee shops and you want to have 300 employees and you want to have a full-blown marketing team and everything set out for this? You have to get actually specific on what you want and get it down to the very detail, like really living out exactly what it would look like to have this goal, and start just brainstorming and just start daydreaming about what this would be like. And then that's going to lead you to actually having a more detailed plan on what this actual goal looks like. And it is scientifically proven that a clear and specific goal is always going to be something that is actually more achievable because your brain can easily break it down into more steps instead of having something that feels like it's just a thought that's being thrown out into the universe. Reason number two is that you rely on motivation. And like we already kind of touched on, motivation doesn't do anything for us. It is so unreliable because it ebbs and flows, and not only are different moods that you're in going to affect this, but different changes of your cycle if you're a woman, different phases of seasons, different things that are going on at work. There are so many things that can affect motivation, but what can't be affected is your habits. If you actually build them and you actually stick to them, creating habits that are actually going to get you further and going to get you what you actually want is the key to actually achieving your goals, because these are little teeny tiny stepping stones. And habits are also actually building confidence in yourself because it's proving to yourself that you're doing the things that you said you're going to do. And that's why it's best to start with a few small habits at a time, and then you are slowly building up your confidence, which is going to make it more realistic for you to achieve these lofty goals that you have that you want to achieve. And they've actually done studies that do indeed show that habits are the thing that actually make long-term success, not motivation, not willpower, not getting random bursts of energy and just wanting to do something. Actually making long-term habits that are going to over time become routines and become something that is just so embedded in you that it's just a natural part of your day. So if you said, I want to be Instagram famous, but you only open the Instagram app once every week and you're not posting anything, you're not doing anything to actually make steps towards that, then of course you're not going to become the next Kylie Jenner. But if you were to start posting little things every single day, not even full feed posts, not even full reels posts or anything like that, but even just committing to posting on your story and building that confidence in yourself that you can actually post every single day, that you can actually show up for yourself and do the things that are going to get you to that goal, you're going to see a lot more success than if you were to just sit there and dream about being the next Kim Kardashian. I don't know why the Kardashians are the only ones on my mind right now, but you're not going to become that if you just sit there and dream about it and are like, oh my God, this is going to happen. Like, I just have to dream it enough and it's going to come true. That's not how it works. Reason number three is that you don't have a system in place. And I feel like the best example is like, you wouldn't see an Olympic gymnast showing up to the gym with no plan, no system, no routine, nothing at all. They have something that is so secure and so down to a T that they are consistently improving on and progressively overloading. They have something that they are doing so consistently because that is what works. And if you've ever read the book Atomic Habits, the author says you don't rise to the level of your goals, you fall to the level of your system, which I think is such a good reminder because anytime that you have a goal or anytime that you want to actually do something, you are not going to magically just jump up to that level. You are going to fall to whatever level you're at right now with whatever routines you have in place, whatever habits you're doing on a daily basis. So you really have to look at them and be like, are these things that are going to actually get me to where I want to be, or am I just wasting my time and self-sabotaging myself? Part 2, we are going to talk about the science of goal setting. And unfortunately, I am going to talk about SMART goals here. Now, I feel like SMART goals are so talked about and they are just so pushed down our throats, and I think that because I am a personal trainer and I did do my certification through NASM, and that is a very SMART goals focused kind of program, and obviously it works. I'm not going to say it doesn't work because we're about to talk about why it works, but it is, I know, so draining to hear it talked about all the time. So I'm not going to make this long. I'm going to just kind of give you the hits of this. So if you didn't know, SMART goals stand for specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and timely. So when you're setting any goal, you kind of want to look at it through this lens. So one, getting really specific on exactly what that is, like we kind of talked about earlier. And then the second part, you want to make sure that it's something that's actually measurable. So if your goal is to become Instagram famous, you have to get down to it and be like, okay, exactly how many followers do I want to have? And then you have to figure out ways to measure this. So if every single month you're looking at certain analytics or certain parts of whatever's growing on your social media, I don't know, I'm not a fucking marketer. So if you're looking at like your views or something, or you're using different parts of your Instagram growth to measure and see if you're actually getting close to this goal, that is what's going to actually work, and that's what's going to get you a little bit further because you have something tangible to look at and be like, okay, am I making progress or am I not making progress? Because there's only two ways to go. Achievable is important because we need this to be something that's somewhat realistic. Like, honestly speaking, you have to have a goal that's actually in your wheelhouse. So this means looking at your life objectively and being like, what is something that I can actually do with everything that I have in my life currently? And this might mean that a goal that you thought you had isn't really something that you can do right now, but maybe if you have smaller goals that you set in place, then you can achieve this bigger goal that might just not be achievable for you at this current moment. R is relevant, and that means that a goal needs to be something that is, again, kind of like achievable, something that is relevant to your life. I definitely said realistic earlier, didn't I? Anyway, relevancy matters when you are setting goals because, again, if it's something like backpacking across the entire continent of Europe, this is something that might not really be relevant to you right now if you are a mother of 3 toddlers who are all homeschooled. Like, does that make any sense? You need something that is actually relevant to the time and the place that you are at in your life right now. And again, kind of like with achievable, this doesn't mean that it's something that you can never do in your entire life, but maybe at this current moment, that is not the best goal for you to set because it's not something that's really relevant to where you're at in your life right now. And T stands for timely. So this means that with your goal, you want to set kind of a cutoff date. And the reason this is important for goal setting is because if you don't have a cutoff date or you don't have a day that you want to achieve this by, it's just never gonna happen. You have to think of how many New Year's goals that you've set that literally never came true, and you got to December and you were like, oh, I never did that. And that's because you didn't set an actual timely date to get it done by. Yeah, when you're setting a New Year's resolution, you are thinking in your head, I want to do this year, but you're not actually setting a real life cutoff date. And what happens is we just end up pushing it to the next year as a resolution because we're like, oh, okay, well, I'll get to it eventually. Like, maybe someday I'll actually have time to work on that. But if you were to say, like, I want to get this done by April 15th, and you have that in your calendar and you have it written down, and then you can take these specific steps that you need to actually get towards that, you're going to be a lot more likely to achieve this goal than if you were just like, I would like to become a millionaire someday. When is someday? We have to get specific. The second part of scientifically setting SMART goals is focusing on the process, not the outcome. So this means kind of really focusing on the journey that you're on. And I know that sounds really cheesy, but that is going to get you a lot more progress than just focusing on this end outcome that you're trying to achieve and obsessing over it, because what you should actually be obsessing over is the small steps, is the process of getting you to there, because that's not only when you're going to see the most growth in yourself, but it's where you're going to see the most fulfilling parts of achieving this goal. You're not going to get it from magically hitting 1 million followers. You're going to get it from learning all of the skills that you needed along the way to post better videos. You're going to get it from engaging with your community, and you're going to get it from really learning how to be consistent and learning how to show up for yourself and build confidence that you are actually doing the things that you said you're going to do. And same goes for things like fitness goals. If your goal is to lose 100 pounds, you're not going to magically become happy and magically feel fulfilled once you lose 100 pounds. You're going to feel fulfilled along the way as you are noticing, oh, I'm feeling a lot stronger. I'm feeling a lot better in my body. I can walk up 10 flights of stairs and feel okay. I can see myself getting stronger every single day. Those are the things that you're going to actually be feeling fulfilled by, and those are the things that are going to make you actually more excited to continue on this journey than magically thinking about losing 100 pounds. And the third most important part to scientifically hitting your goals is to leverage your dopamine source. And this is because our brain loves rewards. So if you can try to find a way to break up your goal into small little milestones, and once you hit each individual milestone, you're rewarding yourself in some way, whether that's with a coffee or a ticket to your favorite concert or watching a certain movie by yourself, having a solo date, something like that. You are just creating small little milestones. And if you need to have an accountability partner to be like, hey, don't let me do this until I hit this goal, then by all means do that. But this is going to help you so much because it's going to give you a little bit of a push that's going to really encourage you to actually take those small steps to actually achieve this bigger goal that you have. Part 3 is building our actual system. So one of the best ways to build a system that's going to actually help you achieve your goals is by habit stacking. And this is something that I know it's talked about a lot, but it really does make such a difference. And it's something that's fairly easy to do. And no matter what your steps that you're trying to take are, you can find a way to squeeze this in alongside another habit that you're already currently doing. But you do have to be a little bit strategic about it. So if you have 2 habits that are going to get you closer to your goal, and say one of them is journaling every single day and another one is running a mile every single day, you wouldn't pair those 2 together because that doesn't really make sense. That's not really something you can do together. But if another one of your habits was to listen to a podcast or an audiobook, you could pair that with the running a mile every single day because that's something that kind of makes sense together, and you're killing 2 birds with 1 stone by getting both of these done, and they are both things that are going to actually lead you to this goal that you want to achieve. You can also utilize this by just doing things back to back right after each other, so kind of just pairing 2 things together and being like, okay, when I do this, I always follow it up with this. And that might make it a little bit easier for things that don't necessarily go together, but they're things that you want to get done around the same time. So for me in the mornings, I like to do my meditation and then my journaling right after, and it's just become something that my brain automatically knows now. Like if I am meditating, I'm journaling right after. Like it's just a back-to-back thing, but obviously I can't really do those at the exact same time. So going back-to-back is what really works for me in certain situations. Another really helpful habit when it comes to actually building your systems is time blocking. Time blocking is really effective because not only does it take out the choice of having to decide what you want to work on, you are actually planning everything out ahead of time. So when you look at your calendar, you go, okay, today at 4 p.m. I need to work on editing a video. At 6 p.m. I need to work on scripting a video. You have everything already set out, and it takes away that decision fatigue of like when you are looking at a to-do list that you have and you just have everything listed out and you're like, oh my God, I literally don't even know where to start. This completely gets rid of that and allows you to just look at your calendar and be like, okay, for this period of time, I'm focused on just this thing, just this topic, just this area of focus, and that is all I'm allowed to do. That is the only thing that I can think of. You can set a timer. As soon as that timer's up, you're like, okay, what's the next time block that I have? What is the next area of focus that I need to actually give my full attention to? And this also works because if you're able to do the same things on the same day of the week or around the same time every single day, this is going to make it more of a routine in your brain. And then your brain is going to start looking forward to this and preparing you, whether you realize it or not, for that specific moment every single day, every single week, whatever it might be. You are actually going into it already kind of going into that zone because your brain is like, okay, We are used to going into this time block every single week, so let's mentally prepare ourselves to do this. And then once you get into it, you're just like, okay, bam, I'm focused, I'm locked in, we are on this. One of the most important parts to your system is tracking your progress. And this is because if you are not tracking your progress, you don't know what you're doing well and you don't know what's working or not working. It's also been shown that self-monitoring actually improves success rates because you are actually tangibly looking at everything that you have in front of you, everything that you've done, and you can see, what am I doing wrong here? What am I doing good? What do I need to change? And that is going to instantly make you a little bit more aware of every single thing that you're doing and seeing what is actually getting you closer to that goal that you have. So whether you use a habit tracker or a journal or some kind of calendar on the wall that you're marking off, you want to find a way to actually measure everything that you're doing. Whether it be once a week or once a month, you are looking back on every single thing that you did and analyzing, is this actually working for me? Did this work? What's going wrong with this? What could I do better? How could I make this process a little bit more seamless? How could I make this a better process for me overall? And then that is not only going to just help you on your journey in general, but it can get you to your goal a little bit faster, because one of the quickest ways to actually win is to fail fast. That is just in general a really great motto to kind of live by, because the faster you can fail, the faster that you can see what's not working for you, the faster you're going to be able to find what things actually are going to work for you and what are actually going to get you to achieve the goals that you want. The fourth key to building your systems is designing your environment. So if your goal is more business focused, you want to make sure that when you are working on your business, working on this goal, you are locked into a place that is not going to distract you. It's not going to be popping up every 2 minutes with a Teams message or an iMessage or just something that's going to distract. If you have to be on your phone to achieve this goal, turn off all your notifications, put it on do not disturb, make sure that nothing is popping up to distract you and get you out of this focus zone that you need to be in to actually make steps towards achieving this goal. And this goes for anything. So if one of your goals is to eat healthier, you're not going to have all of the junk food that you have in your house at eye level around your house. You're going to either put that up somewhere that you can't see it, and then put all of the less processed, higher protein foods actually at your eye level and have someone hide the other stuff if you need, or just get it out of your house in general. If you know that you have absolutely no self-control around these things, there is no harm in absolutely getting it out of your house, because sometimes you need to go really, really hard, really, really heavy at first, because this is what's going to allow your body to kind of break out of that cycle of being in almost an addiction-like state, which for a lot of things, we are in an addiction-like state for things like junk food or being addicted to technology, being addicted to shopping. Like if you're addicted to shopping and your goal is to shop less, delete the apps off of your phone. Like, don't have them in a place where you can just scroll over a few swipes on your phone and then they're right there. No, completely delete it. Have someone lock you out of your phone if you need to. Same thing for if you can't stop scrolling on your phone at night. There are apps to fully lock you out. I use Screen Zen. There's also the app Ochi that I really, really like. Or if you need to have someone do the parental control on your phone, someone that you're obviously close with, have them set a passcode on your phone so that it literally locks down like a child's phone every single night. The goal here is to just make your environment, make everything around you compatible with you actually achieving this goal, because that is what's going to make such a difference, and that's what's going to keep you on track and keep you actually excited to hit this goal. Because if you have a full environment around you that is completely going to make you want to do the opposite of achieve your goal, then of course the goal is never going to happen. And the fifth most important part to building your system is to cut the comparison. So if you are trying to go in the business world, or even if you're just trying to get healthier, feel a little bit better in your body, the last thing you want to do is to be on Instagram comparing yourself to people who have been doing this for 10 plus years. You are going to just feel so much worse about yourself, and you're going to find yourself overthinking and being like, well, why do they look like that? I still look like this. Because once we go into that spiral of comparing ourselves, it is so hard to snap out of it and to realize that not only do people not post all of the bad parts of their journey, but they're not posting everything. And also, they've been on this journey for who knows how long compared to you. So there's no point in comparing yourself to other people. And it's one thing if you're looking at people and being like, oh, I'm getting inspired by them, but I even think that to a point that becomes something that is going to be fuel for comparison at some point, because all it takes is one bad mood or one day where you're looking at yourself and being like, wow, I'm not where I want to be, to suddenly switch from I'm using this person as inspiration to wow, I'm comparing myself to them and now I feel like shit about myself. So while you're trying to achieve whatever goal it is, you want to make sure that the people that you are following online are not people that you're going to compare yourself to. And even if that means fully deleting anybody that's in the realm of what you want to go into, then so be it. You can also just mute them. That is always an option. And then once you are a little bit more confident in yourself, and once you've actually been on this journey for a while, and once you're actually in a point where you're like, wow, I can see the actual success that I've made along this journey, then maybe you can turn their post back on. Maybe you can start to refollow them, because that's going to be less of a detrimental comparison at that point. But when you are early on in your journey, of any journey at all, it is so easy to start and then be like, oh my God, I'm not good enough to do this. I can't do this. Oh my God, this person's so much better. She can just do it. So I'm just never going to try to achieve this. Your brain is not always your friend. So you have to kind of prepare in advance for that, and just again clear out your environment online as well. Part 4 of how to actually achieve your goals, we are focusing on how to overcome setbacks, because obviously this is gonna happen. This is gonna happen in any single journey, any single goal that you have. There's always gonna be setbacks. There's always gonna be things that don't go the way you want them to go. So one really great way to stay on top of your habits is by using the 2-day rule. And this is something that I used to tell my clients a lot, because it basically boils down to you never want to skip a habit more than 2 days in a row. So if you missed your workout on Monday and Tuesday, that's okay. Be gentle with yourself. But Wednesday, you better be in the gym, because that was 2 days that you missed on this habit and you weren't making any progress towards this goal that you have. And I know that sounds a little bit harsh, and obviously there's always going to be caveats, and like things are going to happen. There are going to be really, really terrible times that you go through as you're trying to achieve this goal. And if you end up taking a full week off of work or a full week off of trying to achieve this goal, that is also okay. But this is just more of a mentality to try to be in on a day-to-day basis when you're trying to achieve this goal. And not to say that I'm going to teach you how to hack the system, but I still think this is a really great way to think about it. So say your goal was to start working out more, and Monday you go to the gym, Tuesday you missed your workout, Wednesday you go to the gym, Thursday you missed your workout, Friday you go to the gym, Saturday you miss, Sunday you miss, but Monday you're back in the gym. So technically you only went every other day, but at no point did you miss 2 days in a row, because you are still making progress towards that goal by going every other day. But at no point did you actually fall victim to the 2-day rule where you actually missed more than 2 days of this habit. And that is going to still make so much progress, especially in your brain, and getting you used to doing this habit, doing this routine every single day. And then it's going to become more natural for you to actually want to do this every single day and want to make steps towards your goal, because even if you're only used to doing it every other day at this point, that is still so much progress compared to where you are now. So try to just make sure that no matter what you do, whether it's posting on Instagram, whether it's taking steps towards your business, whether it's working towards getting a new job, make sure that you are working on it as much as possible, but never missing 2 days in a row. Another really important part of overcoming setbacks is staying flexible. So you have to be okay with the fact that your goals might kind of morph, they might shift, they might change a little bit on the way, and that is okay. Just because you had a goal 6 months ago and then you're getting closer to the goal and you're realizing that's actually not what I want this goal to be, that's not what I actually want to achieve, it's okay to change it. You don't have to stay locked into it just because 6 months ago you said, I'm going to do this thing, and now that you're getting closer to it, you're like, maybe I actually don't want to do that. That is 100% okay, and that is completely normal. That's also why it's so important to do at least monthly check-ins on your goals and see, is this something I still really want to work towards? Is this something that still makes me feel passionate about it? Is this something that I still feel really called to do? Or is it something that I'm like, actually, now that I think about it, I felt like my boss was telling me to achieve that goal. I felt like my mom was telling me to achieve that goal. I felt like my partner was forcing me to achieve that goal. If that's the case, then change it. And it's also okay to change it if that's not the case. And for part 5, we are going to talk about all the mindset shifts that you need to make to actually make this goal a reality. So the first thing you have to do is really adopt a growth mindset. And a growth mindset is basically just believing that you can get better at a certain thing. So I know that sounds like it's really simple, but I think a lot of us do this without even realizing it, where we'll start something and we'll be like, oh God, I suck at this. I'm so bad at this. And then we just never do it again because we were thinking and assuming that we could just do something on the first try and be absolutely perfect at it. That's not how anything works at all in any area, any realm, any category of any goal at all. That is just not realistic. So you have to replace things like I suck at this to I'm getting better at this. And you have to really start to stop your negative thoughts in their tracks. So if you're starting to think to yourself, wow, I'm so bad at this, even if in your mind you just go, I'm so, flip it, cut it out right there, stop that sentence, and then in your mind you are going to go, I'm getting better at this. I'm working on this every single day. I'm improving on this, because that is going to slowly shift your mindset into more of a growth mindset, which is key to actually achieving any of your goals. Second way to improve your mindset is to visualize success. And I know that this sounds a little bit woo-woo. There are so many studies that have been done on the concept of visualization. That is such a tongue twister. I literally just refilmed that sentence like 6 times. But a lot of studies have shown that it works best when you visualize not only the outcome, but also the process. So if your goal is to lose 100 pounds, you not only want to imagine what your life is going to be like when you lose that 100 pounds, you want to imagine what the process is going to look like. So visualizing yourself on that journey, visualizing yourself going to the gym every single day, making your meal prep, drinking a lot of water, going on walks, doing all the things that are going to actually get you to that outcome, but also thinking about what that outcome is actually going to look like in your own life. And this doesn't have to be a whole process that you go through. It could just be something that you do before you go to bed every single night. So when you're already in that dreamlike state where your mind wants to wander, let it wander onto the goals that you want to achieve. Let it wander onto what the process is going to look like for you. And the third key to help your mindset is to surround yourself with the right people. So you want to make sure that you're surrounding yourself with people that actually believe in you. And even if they're not people who are also on this same exact path as you, they're at least people that believe in your goals, that trust that you can actually make the steps to do it, and people that want to see you succeed. Research has also shown that people who share their goals with other people have a higher success rate of about 65%, which is pretty good odds if you ask me. So even if you have to find an accountability partner online or through a Facebook group or through a group of any kind, this would still be so helpful because you are sharing this journey with somebody else and you are having somebody to keep you accountable for actually achieving these goals, even if you're telling them the milestones that you want to hit and saying, hey, make sure that I send you a picture when I achieve this. Make sure that I tell you once I have achieved this. And then they tell you, okay, here's your next milestone, or here's what you should do to celebrate this. It's also so good in general to surround yourself with people who are just working towards goals, even if it's their complete own goal, something that's completely unrelated to yours, because motivation is contagious. And when you see somebody around you, when you see the person that's closest to you working towards their own goals, that's going to naturally make you want to be better as well, because you're like, wow, that person is actually on a path that's going to get them to where they want to be, and I want to do that too. I want to be on that same path. And that's why it's just so important to make sure that the people that are around you are at least working on themselves and becoming better every single day, because it's contagious. And if you're surrounded by people who don't care about anything at all, they don't want to get better, they don't want to improve in any way, you're going to start to think like that too. And that's not to say you can't have any friends who are in a different place in life than you, but it's just to say that the main people that you surround yourself with should be improving their life if you want to improve yours. And I think that just about covers it as far as every single science-backed way to actually achieve the goals that you want to achieve. So I really hope that at the least you got at least a few tips out of this that are going to help you achieve whatever goals that you have in 2025. If you found this video helpful, please make sure that you subscribe down below and comment and let me know which of these tips you're going to use the most as you work on this process to achieve your goals. And as always, please make sure you check the description below for a bunch of free resources for your fitness and mindset journey. And if you found this video helpful at all, please make sure you share it with a friend, because like I said, accountability buddies are the key to achieving your goals. Until next time, be kind to your mind, to your body, and to others, and happy healing.